What are you figuring out, huh?
Oh, I got it figured out.
Huh?
I got it figured out.
Okay.
Get all this. A lot of advancements in technology, huh?
Yeah.
Did your mom cook by a cookbook, Mom? Did your mom have cookbooks?
Oh, yeah. She had one. It was, it was Home Comfort, and her stove, when she bought the stove, and she got a cookbook with the stove.
And she only had one cookbook all her life?
That's,
I bet you she got a lot of recipes from her mom. I mean, you know, the
Okay.
stuff that was handed down.
you just remembered from what you know.
Whatever happened to your mom's cookbook, do you know?
Yeah, Sis had it, and I think that Elaine or Billy has it.
Oh. At least it stayed around for a long time.
Yeah, that's, because when Sis lived at the ranch, after my mother died and stuff, and when Sis and Hank lived there with my dad, that 1 year or 2 years, whatever it was, and she took I don't.
Did you guys ever have a family Bible?
Yeah, and I don't know what happened to it either.
Oh, really? Did it have everybody's birth dates and marriage
I
dates
think
and
it
stuff?
did, yeah. But I don't know whatever became of it.
Hmm.
I took that, well, my dad gave it to me, told me I could have it. That's the only reason I got it. I got that plate that is 1900. And it's from the Blackfoot Mercantile Company, and there's a woman painted, it's a hand-painted plate, dinner plate, and it's got the calendar all the way around it in gold. Each the months and all the dates, the days of the week is all on it in gold.
Is that like what is that? Is that the World's Fair plate or so? Was it? Did they get?
No, it was a plate that the store gave
Oh,
to had made or whatever, and it's Ovanda, Montana on it.
and the calendar is from 1900. That's around it.
1900.
Is that in your china closet?
Yeah, and I'm going to take it to the museum.
Is that where you want it to go? Is to the
And
museum?
put in my mother's name, and I put it in on loan, so it never can be sold or nothing. It has to always stay in my mother's name
In Deer Lodge or?
Yeah, they can loan it to another museum, but they cannot sell it. Nobody can ever buy it.
So that's what you want done with that plate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my dad told me I could have it. And I went over there, and that's when Lizzie owned the place, and my dad was taking care of it, and I went over there to cook for the thrashing crew. I lived there in Drummond, and the kids were Christian May and Bud and Sonny and Bud and Lucas May were little, and I went over there and cooked for the thrashing crew for my dad, and the plate was in the cupboard, and I asked my dad if I could have it, and he said yeah. He said, "You have it." So
Did your mom have a china closet with good stuff in it, or
No.
you just didn't have good stuff then?
Didn't have-
You just used every bit
Yeah.
stuff you had.
and so that and I've had it all, all these years, and not wanted, so that's what I want.
Mm-hmm.
Have it taken and put in the museum.
Mm-hmm. You know, a friend of mine, her mom had, all of her, china closet, and she put everybody's name on stuff that she wanted them to have, so that there wouldn't be any
Yeah,
kind of thing. And I'm glad you're telling me that you want that plate to go to the museum,
Yeah.
because
yeah,
if it ever comes about, it's like I'll
Yeah.
know that you want that plate to go to a museum in your mother's name.
and
And you want? Does Deer Lodge have
yeah.
a historical?
Oh yeah,
okay.
they have quite a big one over there.
Okay.
Yeah, and Ovando now has a museum.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Well, that's good. There's a lot of history around
Oh,
that
yeah.
town.
yeah.
Old time history.
They had a big not long ago. They had a big thing for making money for it, you know, and They redid the building and stuff there, and yeah.
Hmm. Do you pretty much know all the things that are valuable where you want them to go, Mama?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Have you wrote all that down, or
Yeah.
you told people?
Yeah.
That's good. Your dad lived a long time after your mom passed away, didn't he?
Oh yeah.
30 years? That must have been a lonely life.
I don't know. My dad. He went every fall, you know, over to Aunt Joanna's and stayed over there, Plains every winter, and went with John's granddad, and they'd go like up to the hot springs and stay, you know, for 2 or 3 months up there and take those baths and whatnot, and of course, after Ed got the place, why, from Lizzie, he bought the place from Lizzie, and I don't think, you know, Ed was not good to my dad anyway.
Was your dad mean to you kids when you were little?
No, no, no.
So he wasn't a spanker?
Oh, no, no.
Was your mom a spanker?
We never, well, you know, I can't ever remember of only getting one spanking in my life.
Oh, really? What'd you do?
I don't remember what I did.
But you remember you got
Yeah.
spanked for it.
I did something upstairs, and I don't know, I can't remember what I did, but I remember coming downstairs and getting a spanking. So I done something upstairs I wasn't supposed to. I probably wasn't supposed to even be upstairs.
So your mom and dad weren't spankers?
No.
Were they hollerers?
No, it was just, I don't know, just, you know, and I don't know, kids then was different than they are now. You knew your limits, you knew what.
Well, you were raised from to say yes and no, and I mean, you knew, yeah, you knew from little being little bitty what you were allowed to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that kids knowing what they're supposed to do and not do makes them feel more secure.
And we made our own. We made our own fun.
Yeah, like painting each other's faces black.
Yeah.
What did you use for paint?
Um, lard and grease off in the bottom of the stove, black and all this.
I bet you that was hard to get off.
And we made our own sleds and skis.
Mm-hmm.
You take a board and put it in boiling water, put the part of it in boiling water, and then till it was soaked in the boiling water, and the water would get cold, and then we'd take and put a pole down this way and lay it this way, and then block it off here, put another, and nail it down to make the
Huh.
front of the ski part up part. Yeah. We made our own skis, our own snowshoes.
Did you used to ski when you were a kid?
Oh yeah. Skied all the time. Skated. Skate down the river in the wintertime. Down the river and get on the ice and skate 3 miles down the river and 3 miles back down to Uncle Antone's and Uncle Matt's and skate back home.
Is that how you pronounce his name, Antone?
Mm-hmm.
That sounds French.
No, it was German.
German? Antone?
Antone Jacobson. And Matt Jacobson, Matt and Antone had ranches that joined one another. And Mrs. Matt Jacobson, she was a little French lady and just about so big around this, and oh, she was so pretty. And dance, oh.
Oh, really?
God, she danced like a fairy.
Oh. Oh, wow.
They would dance the French minuet. She just looked like she was floating out there on the
Oh, wow.
yeah.
Did I remember you saying one time that your mom used to speak French, but then she stopped, or she
No,
didn't?
she could speak German.
Oh, German.
And Germany. Yeah, she could speak German.
But then you just didn't
No.
speak German. Yeah.
No, boy, during the war, you didn't speak German.
It's too bad that you kids didn't learn to speak German from her.
Well,
Really.
We were afraid to. That you could be arrested for speaking German during the war.
During World War One?
Oh yeah, you bet. You bet you spoke more German than you were in jail.
Huh.
Yeah.
Would they arrest you for being a traitor? Or?
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. And that's what I said, you never ever said anything against the president.
Of the United States, yeah.
No way did you ever make any derogative words against the president of the United States. And yeah, and during the World War I, you was damn careful if you had any German blood in you, that,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And uh, Ellen's grandparents,
Hogstadlers?
the,
Yeah.
the Hogsteads,
Hogsteds.
yeah, and they were watched like hawks.
Hmm.
'Cause
You
they
mean
were
other
just,
people watched them or the
oh
government
yeah,
watched them?
everybody,
Oh.
everybody did.
Hmm.
Everybody, you just didn't. If you got it in for somebody, then you just watch what they were doing and what they what they said, and they could go to jail.
Gosh.
Oh yeah, but you know,
Hmm. Yeah, nowadays, I mean, people just complain and, whether you like the government or not, but back then you were so patriotic. You believed in the government. You believed in the United States.
yeah,
You were proud to be an American.
yeah,
I mean, really proud to be American.
yeah.
It was a privilege.
You had a lot better here than you had over there,
Yeah,
so
yeah. Yeah.
Mrs. and my mother could speak Danish too, German and Danish.
Oh my gosh. That's a gift when you can. I mean, look, she knew English, Danish, and German.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, most people can't even hardly speak English right.
Yeah.
Did your dad only speak English?
Well, he could speak Gaelic.
Oh, he spoke Gaelic?
Is a language of its own too. Yeah, he spoke Gaelic.
Hmm. Isn't that funny? Did your dad never graduated from, well, not high school, but grade school? He didn't.
I don't know what you ever went to back in Ireland at that time.
Did he know how to read and write, or?
Oh yeah.
Hmm.
Oh yeah.
And your mom, of course, knew how to read and
Yeah.
write.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And Michael was M like this, but my dad, Michael, was like this, like a U. Was the M.
He made his M's like a U.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder why.
And that was the Gaelic.
Oh, that's a Gaelic symbol for M?
Mm-hmm.
Huh. What was your dad's full name?
Michael.
Did he have a middle name?
No, just J. Just the letter J.
Oh, and that J didn't stand for...
Nothing, only just J.
That's unusual, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Just Michael J. Gary.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, there was no name.
And your mom had a couple middle names, didn't she?
She just had Lucretia Agnes was my mother's name.
Your mom's name was Lucretia?
Yeah.
I thought, for some reason, I thought it was Evangeline or something.
No, no, my mother's name was Lucretia Agnes.
Lucretia Agnes?
Mm-hmm.
I never, maybe I knew that and I forgot it. I didn't know that. So she was Lucretia Agnes Weidenfiller?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's where Lucretia got her name,
Yeah.
is from your mom.
Mm-hmm.
How come none of us kids got Agnes?
He did. My younger sister is Agnes.
But I mean,
Oh,
us
yeah.
us girls.
No. I don't know. I just learned it.
Huh. How did you ever know how you ended up with the name Anna?
Yeah. That was Bill White's, Lizzie's, my oldest sister's husband's sister's name.
Was Anna?
Mm-hmm.
And they pronounced it Anna and not
Mhm.
Anna?
Yeah. When I was born.
That's how'd you end up with your Evangeline?
They was one of the women that took care of my mother when I was born. and I had 3 names. And and the other woman, one woman's name was Evangeline, and the other one was Augusta.
So that's how you got Evangeline Augusta.
Augusta Evangeline.
Augusta. So you're Anna Augusta Evangeline Tubbs. I remember when Richard, it was so funny when he said that when he always saw you signed Anna E. Tubbs, because Daddy's name was Ernest. He always thought that you were signing, like because you were Anna Ernest Tubbs.
Yeah.
I laughed so hard when I can't remember how long ago when he confessed that he always thought that E stood for Ernest.
Yeah.
But I thought your name was Anna Evangeline Augusta.
No, it's the other.
Anna Augusta Evangeline.
Yeah. And I can't remember now what the 2 women's, what their names were. That I used to know what their names
They were the midwives.
Yeah. And so each one wanted me named after them, and so that's how I wound up. And Bill White said that I was Anna, and he didn't care what else it was, but that I was after his sister.
And that would have been a French name or a German name?
I don't really know what Bill was.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what nationality he was. I think he was English myself. I think he was English. I don't know.
Did you like name all of us kids, or did Daddy help name us, or just each other help name each other?
Yeah.
I kind of always thought to myself, like Betty's name is Betty and not Elizabeth, because you really, Betty is short for Elizabeth, but Betty's name is Betty and not Elizabeth, and my name is Kathy and not Catherine.
Yeah.
I just, Carol, it's just, when instead of Caroline, it's Carol.
Yeah.
We're not the long part
Yeah.
of names. I think Lucretia is a beautiful name. I think I've always thought that would, and it's an unusual name, and it's a beautiful name.
Yeah, it's it's very seldom you ever see the name.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
It's not.
But those the older names, really, like Rose and Betty Lou and Carol, you don't, and even Mary. I know Mary spells her name different than you don't hear those girls' names anymore, and you don't hear Kathy as a girl's name anymore.
No.
You never hear of Anna.
No.
I mean, you and Mikey, and Belu's daughter, but you never hear that name. And people always pronounce it wrong anyway.
They pronounce a lot of. There's a woman over at Helmville, and she spells her name the same as mine, but they pronounce it Anna.
Mm-hmm.
And David's.
Yeah, David's little girl.
They call her Anna too.
Yeah. But I mean, those names are, those names are kind of lost. Like, Lily is a name now. I know that,
Yeah.
and Joanna, those names have carried on because kids still have those kind of names, but.
Anymore, they got such funny names, you can't pronounce them or you can't spell them.
Yeah. It was I don't, for a long time, I didn't know that Daddy's mom's name was Jeffrey.
Oh yeah, Jeffrey Louise.
Yeah, I didn't know that was, I didn't know that was her name, Jeffrey.
Mm-hmm.
Now that's an unusual name for a girl.
Yeah.
And she was Jeffrey Louise Brown before she became a Tubbs. Yeah. Daddy never ever knew if he was German or French or what, did he? Or did he?
Yeah, he was French and German. Grandpa was, I think Grandma was French, and or had French blood in her, and but Grandpa was German.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if it's a good thing that you know all the stuff about your relatives, your heritage, or not. It'd be nice to, we have you to tell us all about, Grandma and Grandpa Gary and your stuff, but it's unfortunate that we don't know that about Daddy's family, or maybe it's a good thing, I don't know.
You know, and uh, and I don't think any of the grandkids know anything
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because you know years ago people didn't talk.
Mm-hmm. I know that Mary Joyce and Betty Lou both have done some stuff, research in Daddy's past, and it only goes to a certain point, and then there's like nothing.
Mm-hmm.
It just, it's just
Like they weren't even there.
like they weren't even there, and this is always that, like, it's because we were Indian or whatever, but now they have a DNA test now that you can take to see if you're Indian,
Yeah.
and you don't need to do that research. But I think it's on the males that have to do it. So I think Richard would be about the only one that could go and have it done and see if we have Indian. It costs a couple $100 to do it.
Yeah.
But what would that prove?
That's just what I was going to say. I don't care what. It's just like religion. I don't care what you belong to, as long as you're. And what difference does it make? What nationality you are, if you're a good person? What difference does it make?
Really, because your heritage, it's great to know all that stuff, but it really comes down to who you are inside, not
Not what
who
they
your
were.
grandparents were, yeah, or who your father was. It's who are you?
Yeah.
What have you turned? What have you become?
What have you, to me, that's all that.
Yeah, I mean, it's wonderful to know that. I'm glad that we know that stuff, but it's probably made me who I am, part of who I am. But I mean, you and Daddy bringing me up has made me who I am inside.
That,
Whether you guys were French, Irish, Russian, German, whatever you were, it's the kind of qualities that you guys, instilled about being honest and hardworking and.
that's what I said. I don't care what nationality you are.
Mm-hmm.
As long as you're a good person, that's all. That's all that makes any difference. If
Well,
you're honest and
we all end up the same place, don't we?
that's
I
right.
mean, no matter what nationality you are, no
We
matter
all
what.
live and die.
That's right. We all come to the same end, rich or
And
poor.
You come into the world without anything, and you will go out the same way.
That's right. There's not too many hearse pulling a U-Haul behind them.
Right.
It's just a hearse, and that's it. Yeah, we all come to this. We all come to the same end. The sad truth of it all.
Yeah. Good, bad, and indifferent.
But you know what, though, Mama? Some of us are missed more than
Well,
others.
yeah, that. Uh, the ones that are left behind is, you know.
I know one thing, that this would have been wouldn't have been as good as World without you in it. That's for certain. Well, I wouldn't have been here, and Bud and Christian May and Rose and Bailu and Carol Ann, Mary Joyce, Richard, Mikey, none of us would have been here. You hadn't been here. So you're going to be missed for certain. For certain. It doesn't seem like 98 years when you look back, does it?
No.
I mean, I look back at 58 years, and it doesn't seem...
Yeah, you know.
I mean, here you are going to be 99 in January. That's not half a year away. Do you ever think of yourself being 98?
No. I never ever thought I'd,
You ever thought you'd make 98?
no. Well, you know, I never ever really thought about it or worried about how old I was or how old I'd be. Never. It was just another year.
So you never ever worried about, like, oh, who's going to take care of me when I get old, kind
No.
of? So.
No. No, I never did.
You never, and that wasn't like...
No.
Because there are a lot of people that are afraid of getting old.
Yeah,
I mean, they're afraid of it.
yeah, but I never have been.
Because you always said, oh, I'll just take care of myself. Whatever comes, comes, and I'll
Yeah,
take care of
that's right.
myself.
I've always taken
Yeah.
care of myself and taken care of whatever I had to do, and the good Lord will continue.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, you know, because really, Ma, there's a lot of people. I mean, you know, they do everything in the world to keep themselves from getting old. And they do everything in the world because they're afraid of getting old and they're afraid of dying. You know, they are.
I always think it can't be any worse than
Yeah, well, if you think you're going to go to heaven, it's definitely lots better than
Yeah.
what's here.
it can't be any worse than what it is. That's what it's been here, so
Hmm.
that's the way I. No, I've never.
Not afraid of going on.
No.
Well, that's comforting me to know that you're not afraid of going on. Because I absolutely believe in heaven. I absolutely believe in it.
I know there's a better place out there.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, I don't know. I laughed and Kathy Daniels and Nelson was talking first. We were talking and she said something about being, cremated. And I said, well, I don't want to be cremated. And she said, I said, when I was little and my brother died and stuff, and I said, no, I wanted to know if Henry had his shoes on. He was in the casket. I wanted to know if he had his shoes. They had to lift me up to see him because I was that little one. And I wanted to know if he had his shoes on. And she said, why would you want to know whether he... And I said, when I die, I want my shoes on. And she said, Kathy looked at me kind of funny, and she said, why would you say that? And I said, I said, I don't want to run through those hot coals barefooted. She just laughed and laughed and laughed. She said, I never heard of that. I don't want it. She said, do you still want your shoes on? And I said, no, I don't need no shoes on.
Because you know you're going to heaven, don't you? So you don't need no shoes on because you know, well, when you get to the streets of gold, you might want to have some shoes on your feet, Mom.
She said, I want to be cremated because it's cheaper. And I said, well, I don't care whether it's cheaper or not. I said, I don't want to be burned up. I said, I come in this world whole and I'm going out the same way. Said, well, that's the point.
See, when 2012 rolls around, Mom, I'm going to come and say, see, it's 2012 and not everything is unraveled.
But what are you going to say if it is?
I'll come to you and say, Mom, you were right. 2012, everything unraveled.
Well, there's going to be a drastic change in it, isn't it?
It is a confused time. It's so confusing now and bad stuff. But there's been times that we've been through really bad stuff.
Never has it been one bad thing right after another happen. There's a tornado, there's an earthquake, there's floods, and eruptions, and all the one right after another. That should tell us something. It used to be maybe there would be an earthquake once a year, but not really a bad one. It would shake up and something. But just stop and think of all the terrible, 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 terrible things. One right after another is happening.
The Lord's telling us something.
He's telling us something. And that eruption in Iceland, that hasn't erupted for 2,000 years. And it's still erupting.
Yeah.
And this terrible oil spill, and all the tornadoes, and everything is unheard of in this time of the year.
Yeah, tornado season usually isn't until later in the summer. Yeah.
And look at all the places in Minnesota and North Dakota and and Iowa have already been completely destroyed.
Yeah.
Because we sit here and nothing really, really bad happens other than bad wrecks and things like that. But for the earth to be part of it being destroyed, we haven't had it yet.
Yeah.
But look at all over the world. It isn't only in the United States. It's all over the world. In Africa and Asia and Japan, every country in the world is having these terrible disasters. And this war that's going on and on and on and on and on.
Yeah.
There's got to be something. We're being told something, but we're not listening.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's my idea.
Well, I agree with you. I think that the Lord has been speaking to us for a long time about getting ourselves straight,
That's
to
right.
getting our lives back, away from thinking about money all the time. What I can get, what belongs to me. It's all about me.
Yeah.
And we have getting back to the basic things of life, just
Yeah.
like what you're talking about, being good to your neighbor, living a good life, honoring the Lord,
Yeah.
believing, doing the right thing, just walking, doing the right thing. We've gotten away from all of that. We talk bad about our president. We talk bad about our neighbor. We talk bad about this person or that person.
Yep.
That's not,
Yep.
that's not right. Yeah.
And look at that terrible flood that was the other day that washed that place all away. Never before.
Yeah, in Arkansas, down in Arkansas, in that little park.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was horrific. They're still trying to find people that they think are missing down
Yeah.
there.
Never.
Out of the middle of nowhere.
In the middle of nowhere. Instantly, there's all this water that come from where?
Yeah.
People just don't stop and think about it.
No, because I don't think people think they have to pay for what they've done, or it's just they just don't think that they have to suffer the consequences of doing wrong stuff. They think they can just go through life doing bad stuff to people and never ever have to account for it.
Yeah.
And that's just not the way to live life. You've said it so many times. It's just so true that you walk that road alone, and you have to account for all that stuff. You have to account for all that stuff you did purposely to hurt other people. It's not, I don't think you have to account for things that you did that you didn't know about, that you were just.
Oh no.
But when you purposely went out to, you will walk that road, and you will answer for all that stuff.
And when you deliberately did something that you should have done and you didn't do, and
When you knew it was right and you didn't do it.
that's
Yep.
right.
Yep.
And
Yeah, when you chose to do wrong instead of do right.
let people to suffer when you could have given them a drink of water or something. Wow.
Life's just, with all the stuff that's happened in our family this last year,
Yeah.
it should, it should teach us something. Really, even since, we started seeing, from Bedelou's Richard passing and Nadarian passing and Sean passing and Misty passing, just,
That we're not the only ones.
yeah,
There's a million other people the same thing has happened.
absolutely. Absolutely. A lot of families losing family members because of cancer and car accidents and
And you
boys
see
dying in the
all
war.
these people being killed, and one little boy lives out of the whole bunch.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. We're not the only family that has suffered.
That, you know,
That's true, Mama. We're not the only ones.
it don't make it any easier, but it's true.
Mm-hmm.
You stop and think of, somebody lost a whole family and one left out of a whole, you know.
Or I can't think of anything worse than being a young mother and having a husband that's in the war and having, finding out that you got blowed up by a roadside bomb or something.
Yeah.
And, you know, yeah.
There's somebody coming in and killing a whole family and, for what little bit of
Yeah.
money they could find in the house or something, and killing 3 or 4 little kids and the mother and father, you just... I often think of lawyers, and I wonder how they can go to bed and sleep at night, knowing that somebody they have protected and fought for that has killed someone, and it's very evident that there's no doubt that they've done it. How can somebody get up there and fight and argue and that to save their life when they have killed other people?
Mm-hmm.
And how can they go to bed at night and sleep?
I know.
When they know,
When somebody's guilty.
yeah, that they're guilty.
Mm-hmm.
And I've often wondered that how they, when they've caught practically right in the act, and still use all kinds of things to get them turned loose so they can do it again.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's not like vigilante days like when you were young, is it?
Yeah.
When people did stuff wrong, neighbors just got together and hung the person that they thought done wrong.
Yeah. Well, I don't think, maybe sometimes they was somebody that didn't deserve it, but I think the biggest share of the time it was
Deserved.
deserved. I think the vigilantes did I think it was, because I can remember when I was just a little kid, and it was down around Woodworth there, and that guy, he raped that little girl. He raped a little girl. She was only 7, 8, 10 years, maybe 10 years old. And one night, there was a bunch of, they knew that, you know, and a bunch of guys put on hoods, and they went, got him out of bed, and took him out and castrated him.
Well, I hope he was guilty.
He was guilty.
Oh,
he was guilty. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Well, that, they said he wouldn't do it again.
Yeah, I imagine he wouldn't be doing much again. Yeah. Yeah.
And I was just little, I can remember him you know, talking about it at home. And Mrs. Lawrence and some of them there then. And they knew very well that the guy was guilty, and they did. They went
It was the end of that.
and took him right out and castrated him just like a calf. And I said, you know, a lot of times the stuff that they do that when they're guilty, not send them to jail for 6 months and then let them
Oh, yeah.
out and go to do it again
Yeah.
with some other poor little kid.
Yeah.
They told him he could eat and what he couldn't eat, and and Tom beat it.
And that,
And he was the only one, the three of them, and the other two died within 2 years. Sweden and Cliff Johnson, Helen's husband.
that's,
Makes you want to do what a doctor says.
Yeah, you know. But Tom would not eat a thing that was said on that slip. And he ate at the time, you know, there was a time limit in, like he was supposed to eat by 9 o'clock of the morning. He could eat any time, but to 9, and then he was supposed to eat at lunch at a certain time and supper, and he did faithfully every day.
they sure have improved a lot on stuff.
Yeah.
When your mom had cancer, there wasn't nothing, was
No.
there?
No.
How old was Grandma when she passed away?
63.
Did they still have the ranch then, or
Oh yeah.
they were still working the ranch when she was that old?
Oh yeah. My dad was on the ranch when he was 90 years old.
When he was living with Ed?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, he was still out there irrigating.
Hmm.
Yeah. And he, before, when Lizzie had the ranch, before Ed bought it from Lizzie, my dad lived there and all by himself and did the irrigating and put the hay up and.
So after, when your mom and Dad, after all you kids left, they still were running the ranch all by themselves, or Uncle
Yeah.
Ed was helping them run the ranch?
Oh no, Ed wasn't anywhere in the picture. He was he worked for the Forest Service.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He packed for the Forest Service. Back in mules and stuff, back in for the fires and stuff. Yeah. He worked out of 9 Mile, out of Missoula. The 9 Mile for the Forest Service.
So when you and your mom were like doing berries and all that stuff, that was when you were younger and most
Oh,
all the
I was
older
just a
kids
kid.
oh, okay.
10, 12 years old.
Did all the other kids go huckleberrying with you and your mom? Or?
No, none of the. Of course, my other sisters was gone. Yola was gone, and Belle was gone. Lizzie was, because Lizzie's kids are the same age as me. We're just about. Billy was Lizzie's oldest one, and he was a couple of years younger than me.
Hmm.
And see, Tom is 8 or 9 years younger than I am. And there's the twins, and Eddie and Harold, and my nephews and nieces are as old as I am.
Who were the twins?
Eddie and Harold White, Tom's brothers.
Oh, okay, okay. But they're not alive anymore.
Yeah,
Oh, they
they're
are
both
alive.
Yeah.
Huh? How come
Yeah,
they
they-
never ever come around? I mean,
they live in Spokane.
oh, okay. Because every time we have family stuff.
They never ever see when their dad was killed. Then Lizzie married Archie, and then Archie Nellis, and then she had the one little girl, Helen, from them. And then, of course, Helen is dead. Then Helen died real young, yeah.
So you kind of knew. Did you know more of your dad's relatives than you knew of grandma's relatives?
No, I knew most of my cousins on my mother's side.
Why? Because they were like immigrants into Gold Creek, and
Yeah,
okay,
yeah, they lived at Pioneer.
that's that picture of them all doing
Yeah.
potatoes.
Yeah,
And-
Grandpa and Grandma and 2 or 3 of my aunts.
That's none of Johnny Gagnon's family in those pictures, though,
No,
right? Okay.
No, those are the Gagnons are on my dad's side.
Oh, okay, okay. Well, you were pretty fortunate. I mean, really for your dad being an immigrant from Ireland. Did your mother come over? Or was she born here?
She was born in Ironwood, Wisconsin.
Oh, okay. So but
Iron Mountain.
but your dad came on a
Yeah,
boat.
he come from Ireland when he was 14 years old.
Wow, what a scary thing. Think about that.
And
I mean, we won't even let Thomas ride his bike. I mean, by himself. And
you
here's
know.
somebody coming over on a boat when they're 14 years old. I mean, that's the same age like Ryan and Thomas are right now.
But I don't know, kids some days I think were older for their age.
Yeah, well, I guess they had to be. I mean, it was either starve to death or come to
Yeah.
America. But I mean, but think about that going through Ellis Island. That was
Of
a
course, my
big.
dad didn't go through Ellis Island. He came into Boston.
Oh, I didn't know where all the Irish were coming into.
Yeah, he came into Boston because he had I think because we called her what the hell was her name, Aunt Teresa. We called her Aunt Teresa, and I don't know whether she was an aunt to my dad, and I think she was an aunt to my dad. And see, then Grandma, my dad's mother, my dad's real dad was killed in a peat mine in Ireland.
That's where you went over and saw with Mikey
and then my grandmother, my dad's mother, she married again, and she married a man by the name of Coleman. Now, I never did know, and when I was little, I would say, one time I said, why is she Grandma Coleman? And my dad's name is Gary. How come she goes by the name of Coleman?
It didn't make sense to you when you were a kid?
I didn't, because there was nobody with her.
Oh, yeah.
She lived with Aunt Lizzie and Aunt Maggie Wales. She lived with Aunt Maggie Wales and Aunt Lizzie Bignell.
Hmm.
She never ever lived with us.
So your dad came over when he was 14, and then Grandma Coleman came way later?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
So she must have came when her other husband died, huh?
Well, we don't know.
Oh.
And when we were in Ireland, we looked everywhere for in all the cemeteries and that for a Coleman, and we never could find anybody by the name of Coleman buried in any of the cemeteries.
Well, wasn't that just a blessing to come across
Yeah,
that young Gary? I mean, that he'd be home from New York and you be able to see the place that your dad was raised at. That was
yeah,
awesome.
yeah, yeah.
What an awesome thing.
You know, and it was the last week we were there. It was we found it, and then just 2 days later we had to leave.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, when we found.
Do you ever want to go back?
I have always wanted to go back. I would like to go back, but never will. You know.
Why? I mean, still stay healthy, Mom. Yeah.
But yeah.
All you got to do is tell Richard that you want to go back, and he'll buy you a ticket. You should make Richard go back with you, Mom.
It would, and it's kind of funny too because, you know, my dad never really talked too much about, I was under the impression that their place was a little place like Plebby, because nobody had big ranches.
Yeah, yeah. Because
It
they
was
were all
always
poor.
20 acres maybe, or 25 acres or something like that. And I always just, in my mind, I always just thought that it was just a little place where they, but lo and behold, it's 160 acres. And it has always been in the Gary name. It's still in the Gary name. It's never been sold. It's been handed down from generation to generation to generation.
So when your dad left, what brother got the ranch, or what
Well, I
cousin?
don't know whether
Oh.
whether Grandma Coleman sold it to one.
Oh,
and
to a
I-
Gary?
And I think that's what she probably did. She sold it to one of the Garys.
To get the money to come?
A cousin or whoever, but it was sold to a Gary that
That's
was
good.
related.
Yeah. What do they do with the land? Do they graze cattle?
They don't work at they keep the house, and the one boy lives in the house, but they lease the land out to some other guys that raise cattle.
Mm-hmm.
And the house is just exactly like it was built, excepting they took the thatch roof off on it and put a metal roof on it. And my mother and Aunt Yola married brothers. Aunt Yola married Uncle Pat, and my mother Maya.
Okay, so I knew Aunt Yola. No, I didn't.
No,
I knew
Yola,
your
my
sister. Oh, okay.
Yola. Yeah,
So how many sisters did your mom have?
6.
Oh my God.
There were 6 of them. Yeah.
Huh.
And Aunt Olive and Aunt Louise were both married to men by the name of Moore. But I don't know whether Uncle Jim and Uncle Ed were brothers or whether they were cousins. But they're both of them their last name was Moore.
And you knew all of your dads because they all settled
Yeah.
in the same.
Yeah. And I knew all of, of my mother's too, because they all, Aunt Annie was married to Antone Jacobson, and Aunt Olive was married to Ed Moore, and Aunt Louise was married to Jim Moore. You know.
Hmm.
And
She didn't.
Aunt Lily was married to Richards, and his last name was Richards.
How did we ever get related to the Downies or Donies?
They were my mother's uh, cousins.
Oh, okay.
He was a Donny that was my mother's uncle. The
Okay.
Donny that was in the war and all that, was Spanish American or Civil War.
Oh, do you remember Donnie? What was his first name?
Donny.
They
It's,
fight for the Yankees or the Yankees?
yeah, he was in that book, Across the Divide.
Mm-hmm.
That his name is in there, and he spelled his name Danise, and then it gradually got changed around on account of the the wars,
Oh, okay.
you know.
War record.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Mm.
And my mother's uncle died about out of Pioneer there.
When Pioneer was a
Yeah.
real town instead of.
Yeah,
And it was-
and he was that little. There was a little town up there. It was out of Pioneer. It was not really a little town. It was probably a half a dozen people that were. And he was the mayor. Yeah.
Have you ever really thought back, Mom, over, 98 years of everything that, that you've seen? You still saw Indians when they
Oh, yeah.
were real Indians. You
They
saw,
stayed at our house.
yeah, and you saw World War One and World War Two and the Korean War and, somebody land on the moon, somebody go around the, there's a
Yeah.
whole lot. Now really, that's a fortunate thing to be able to look back and see, see the history of everything.
Yeah.
Even to know your dad, you're a second generation American. Think about that.
Yeah.
That's huge.
You know. Yeah.
I know a lot of people don't. When I say I'm a third generation, American, that doesn't seem, but it's a long time. It was a
Yeah.
long time because. How old was Grandpa when he died?
My dad.
Yeah.
92.
92. It's kind of it's kind of sad that Daddy didn't know as much of his family as what you know of yours.
Yeah.
Really, isn't it?
Yeah. But the Southern people were more close-mouthed
Mm-hmm.
than and never talked about their families. Like,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Do you think it ever bothered Daddy not knowing?
I don't know whether he did or not. He never ever. He never ever said anything. Even. He once in a while he'd say something about him working with his dad in the woods and driving the mules and stuff and that. But I don't think that he ever had a very happy,
Well, I imagine them being so poor, and so many of them.
and that and
When I was growing up, I always thought that Daddy's dad died when Daddy was little. I didn't, and it wasn't until I got older that I don't know when I found out that Daddy was in Montana when his dad died.
oh yeah, yeah.
I didn't know that. I always thought that he died when he was little.
And I don't know, because, let's see, I never met, well, I never knew Hensley, but I knew Lou and Leonard.
Mm-hmm.
But
Tom,
Yes, sir.
come here.
Hun.
Okay. Hold on 1 second. Okay, coming. Yes, sir. What?
What time? How old was Daddy when he came to Montana?
he must have been 21, 22, 23.
I remember when I don't know if it was real or if it was just make believe. When we all said that Daddy jumped on a train because revenuers were chasing him for doing moonshine. I don't know if that was just a made up thing that us kids
It
always
probably-
thought happened.
It probably was the truth. Because he did make moonshine.
And that he ended up in Montana. And,
Yeah,
and,
well, he came to Montana with that, oh God, what was her name? It was Ursie Lee's mother. Then she owned property up at Glasgow. She owned a ranch up at Glasgow, and that's how he come.
Who's Ursa Lee?
Was Leonard's
Oh,
wife, Harry and Harry's mother, Ursie Lee, and there was the girl Ursie Lee and Barbara. Those were Leonard's kids,
oh, okay.
and that's who Ernie came to Montana with. He came with her to the grain fields, so he could work in the grain fields.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And then so he worked in Glasgow.
Yeah.
How did he ever end up in Helmville?
Well, he worked on the chain from
Oh, on the wheat fields.
on
Oh,
the
okay.
wheat fields all the way down Great Falls and all the way down, and wound up. And Irvin, he was in Deer Lodge. He had worked at the Coors Ranch, and there in Deer Lodge and finished up. And Irvin, my brother Irvin, was on the wall we had a butterfly, and it was a tin butterfly, and we always put all the mail up there to be mailed. We always put it behind that butterfly. And Irvin had I don't know, he had sprained his ankle or something, and anyway, there was a pin cushion hanging there, and he went to put a letter up there, and he slipped, and he hit the pin cushion, and when he hit the pin cushion, the needle went through his hand and into between the joint
Oh, my
on
God.
his finger, and broke off.
Oh,
And so he was in Deer Lodge, and he had gone over to Deer Lodge and to Dr. Powell, and he had opened it up and had taken the needle out, but Irvin had to stay there for 3 or 4 days. Well, he was staying at the hotel, and Ernie was at the hotel, staying at the hotel, because he had finished his job, and so they got to talking, and Irvin had worked for Copenhagen's, and of course he couldn't go back to work for Copenhagen's on account of his hand and on account of his leg, and so he told Ernie, he said, well, why don't you come and go home with me, and I know you can get a job at Copenhagen's. And they lived just across the river from the ranch. Their ranch.
when was this? About 1920 or when was this?
Oh, yeah, it was, well, let's see, it was, about 26 or 27, 20, and then,
Mm-hmm.
and and he, and he, and then he did. He come home with, and Irvin went down to Copenhagen's with him, and he got a job and worked. And that's how. And him and Irvin and Ernie were, you know.
Did they stay friends for a long time?
Oh yeah, they spent. And then Irvin went to barber school and became a barber. And then during the war, he left and he went to Seattle. And Irvin was dextromannus, whatever you call it. He could use either hand.
Oh, ambidextrous?
He could use, and if he turned around and picked up a razor with his left hand, he shaved the man with the left hand. Or he used scissors or anything. Or if he picked up anything with his right hand, he used the right hand. It didn't make any difference what hand he could use either hand. And then Bill and him went to Washington or to Seattle to work on and Irvin was a barber in Seattle, and because Harvey Truax was a barber in Butte, and Harvey Truax was a friend of my folks and that, and anyway, Irvin wanted to go, and Harvey knew in Seattle, and so Irvin through Harvey Truax, Irvin went to Seattle to work, and he worked, and then he quit he quit barbering and went to work in the shipyards because it was more money.
Did any of your brothers end up fighting in the war? Being a soldier, going overseas?
Ed was the only one that was. Pete was too old, and Ed went in, and Ed was only in just a short time, and and he was given an honorable discharge because he was flat-footed.
So that was World War One.
Yeah.
Okay. And then when World War II rolled around, everybody was too old, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, and he was. Ed had to have special shoes.
That's why Daddy never was in the service, wasn't it?
No.
Because he was too.
We had too many kids.
Oh, but I mean, World War One, he
No.
was too young. Or
Yeah, too young.
Too young, and then World War II, he was old and had lots of kids.
Yeah. He. Yeah, he was. Because he had to sign up, and it was and that was the one. But Betty Lou was born in 41, and that was during the war. So, yeah.
So how many kids did you have when the Depression rolled around? You must have had.
Well,
You had
Sonny and Bud
Bud
and Lucretia May
and Rose and Betty Lou.
Yeah, she, Rose was born in, see, Sonny was born in 29, Bud was born in 31, Lucretia May was born in 33, and Rose was born in 36. And Betty Lou was born in 41.
So you had then
I
you
had 3 families.
yeah.
I had Betty and Carol, and then there was almost 5 years between Rose and
Betty Lou.
Betty Lou.
Mm-hmm.
And then Carol Ann was 4 years old
When Mary Joyce was born.
yeah.
Then you had Mary Joyce, Richard, Mikey, and me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
So I had 3 families,
Yeah.
really.
Mhm.
You know, because Bud was in the service when you were born.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You know, I never knew until I got older, but I remember saying to you one day, like, oh, Mom, I bet you that was, having all those kids and having to work, and what a drag that would have been. And I remember you saying I was happy every time I was pregnant, and it made me feel so good to think that that you really did want all of us
Yeah,
kids.
I never was disappointed or mad or nothing when I.
It was a happy thing.
Yeah. It was,
Just but it was kind of a way of life to have children and to work hard and do.
well,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
I don't think people now think as much about kids as they did back then. Maybe because you guys, kids didn't live long back then because of diseases and stuff and working hard. I know the life expectancy of people have gotten,
Oh, yeah.
more and more and more. I imagine when Grandpa Gary was young, it was just probably a real godsend when you made it out of your teen years because of all the diseases and
Well,
no food and
And very, very few people lived over 65.
yeah, because
You
they
know,
had they
when my
worked.
dad's generation, there was very few people lived over to be over 65 or 68. They just didn't live that long.
What it did Grandpa Gary and Grandma Gary they didn't have to take a wagon train out here. They took a train, right? Or did they have trains then?
Oh yeah, there was trains when my dad came from Boston to Helena
On a train?
on the train. Yeah.
And then your mom came from Wisconsin to.
She came part way from Wisconsin. They left part way on with a mule train,
Oh my God.
and then I don't know. I don't know where Grandpa changed, and I imagine it was probably at the Mississippi River or something that when that they came, and then because I have that picture. It's a tintype of my mother when my mother was 8 years old, and she said that, and I think she said that picture was taken in St. Louis, Missouri. So they had come down from Wisconsin down into Missouri.
I think that's kind of the gateway. The gateway was
Was.
there to the west.
Yeah.
That was,
Yeah.
like where everybody started
Yeah.
at. Either on wagon trains or the boat that came
And-
up the.
And of course, the Donies were already here.
So did your
So
mom?
that's why they came to Pioneer, was because the Donies was there.
Did you? Did you ever know how your mom and dad got to meet because the families already knew one another?
No, I don't think so. I think it was probably from dances, or
Oh, wow!
really?
Really?
Where they used to come to Helmville, and from around and from Garrison, like, and Gold Creek, and
So they'd have like.
and they'd have, like, in the fall of the year, they'd have big harvest deals and stuff. I think that's,
how they got to.
Yeah.
Was she young?
yeah, well, yeah, because my mother went to school in Pioneer. And Aunt Louise, Aunt Louise and Grandma Norton were friends. Because Grandma Norton, well, I call her, she was not, you kids always call her Grandma Norton. She was no relation to us there in Drummond.
Oh, okay.
Mrs. Norton, Laura, that delivered papers.
Oh, okay.
Her and my Aunt Louise were friends and were in the same grade, in fact, because she lived in Pioneer too.
So your mom married Grandpa Gary when she was young.
Yeah, I think she was probably 18.
Oh, I was thinking more like 15, 16. No, she was
No,
18.
she was.
She graduated from high school? Or
When they wasn't high school then.
oh, you just went to the 8th grade then?
Yeah.
Of course, that was a big deal just to get out of the 8th
Yeah.
grade.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they taught big stuff.
See. And Aunt Annie, she married Anton Jacobson.
That's how we got related to Paul Jacobson and the Jacobson
Yeah,
family.
yeah.
Mhm.
And Aunt Olive was married to a man by the name Ed Moore, and Aunt Louise was married to Jim Moore.
Yeah.
And I never did know. Was it? I just knew that they was Moors.
Everybody was Catholic, though, weren't they?
Yeah.
I mean, people didn't. Catholics didn't marry Methodist. I mean, there wasn't even a Methodist or a Lutheran community, was there?
No, they didn't because Jacobsons were Methodist or
Oh, okay.
Presbyterian. I think it was Presbyterian then, because Aunt Annie married Antoine Jacobson.
Okay. Okay.
You know, and I don't. Of course I can't remember. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Them.
You know, it really impressed me in that cookbook that's from him, that Helmville cookbook, and it has pictures of the old Catholic church that was there before it burnt down. That big, you know, the altar and the back thing that all those ranchers got together and barged up on the Missouri. And here these families are dying. I mean, not dying. They're all poverty-stricken, feeding their kids, living off of hardly nothing, and made sure that that church had that
Yeah.
humongous altar and organ and backdrop kind of stuff. I mean, they really thought a lot of their church was
Oh yeah, it was. You know.
a big deal. Did you guys go to Sunday church every Sunday?
Oh no, it was
Too far?
Well, it was from the ranch to Helmville is 18 miles.
I didn't know that. I've never been out to that ranch in my adult life. I mean, I know that, you know, Richard and you guys go out there, and Betty Lou and Rose and Bud and them have gone back, but I wouldn't even know where it was at. I wouldn't even know where it was at. You have good memories of that, don't you?
Oh yeah.
A lot of work.
And then Aunt Yola married Uncle Pat, my dad's brother. The two.
So you were double cousins?
Yeah.
Hmm. I guess your choice of partners was kind of limited, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, you know, in them days it was, you know.
Yeah. And Aunt Maggie Wales was my dad's sister, and Aunt Lizzie was my dad's sister. And there was Aunt Nora and Aunt Nellie. How you and Tommy are about the only ones that are alive right now, aren't you? I mean, you're the only one living right now from your family.
Of my family.
Yeah, of your brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
What were you in the chain of all the kids?
Oh, I was way down on the tail end.
So Andy Sis was the only one that was younger than you? Or
No, Teresa, and then the other baby, and was younger than me.
so was Uncle Ed the oldest?
Oh no, Eugene was Uncle Eugene. My brother Eugene was the oldest.
And how did he die?
He had appendicitis when he was 12 years old.
Oh my gosh. And who was the next one?
There was Eugene and Lizzie, Henry, Pete, Belle, Neola, Irvin, Ed, Bill, me, and Teresa, and the other baby, and Sis, and then the other baby. There was 14 of us.
Okay, and there was 2 babies that died at birth between.
Well, one was stillborn, and the other one was, Teresa was a month old.
Mhm.
when she-
She was a baby with long hair.
Yeah.
So did all of those? I mean, did any of your brothers and sisters make it to old age? I mean,
Well, yeah, Belle was about 90 when she died. And then, of course, Yola was, and Lizzie was about 89 or something when she died. And then Irvin was killed in a car wreck in Seattle. And Bill died with a heart attack. And Pete had a heart attack. And then Yola had cancer too. And I really don't know. I think Sis had cancer too. I don't know for sure.
I kind of thought she had cancer.
I think she did. I never was told for sure what she had.
How long did Grandma Coleman live?
She was about 90 when she died.
So really, I mean, you know, our family are long livers.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, really.
yeah. Because, but my dad's brothers, well, I don't, Aunt Lizzie was old too. Aunt Lizzie Big Note, she was old. I don't know. Of course, when, you know, anybody that was 30 years old was old when I was a kid.
Was Grandma French?
Yeah, it's French and German.
French and German? And Grandpa was all Irish, right?
Yeah, the Doneys came from, the Doneys and the Wyden fellas lived across from France and Germany. One was just across the border from one another.
I bet you that was a sad time for them during World War II and World War One.
Yeah, well, World War II, or World War One, you never admitted that you was German.
Oh, really?
Oh, no, no. You know, you just never, ever.
So even if you knew how to speak German, you didn't speak
You
it?
didn't speak German. You didn't speak it if you know, and a lot of, you know, and I said they called them pro-German because they were sending money back to Germany for the,
Oh, no way.
oh yeah, during the World War One. Oh yeah, they was the Kaiser. Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, and Ellen's parents were the Hogsteads. They were,
Now that's Uncle Ed's first wife, Ellen? Okay. Karen's mom?
yeah, they were very, was watched really close.
Oh, really?
they
Their
lived
names was Hogstead?
Yeah. Yeah. They lived at Potomac. They had a ranch at Potomac, and there was several, you know, and a lot of them had sympathy for Germany. And you know, but you wouldn't think that they would because they were so ostracized in Germany and everything was taken away from them, and that you wouldn't think that they come here to this country and had what, there was nothing given to them. I don't mean it that way, but they had more freedom and
yeah.
stuff, but they still had those ties back there.
Hmm.
So,
I think that Karen is just
oh,
what a beautiful
I feel
person.
so sorry for her.
But she's such a beautiful person, isn't she?
She is.
I mean, she's just a gem.
Oh, and it treated her like she was dirt.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
He was kind of a mean person.
Oh, he
wasn't
was mean. It was mean.
He was mean to you kids. I remember
Oh,
you
yeah.
telling me one time the stuff he did to you little ones,
Yeah.
and about you when you were going to drown and who saved you. Your other brother saved you.
No, it was my cousin.
Your cousin that saved you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was mean to animals too.
Huh. Yeah. Well, I don't know how Karen grew up, but she is just a beautiful person.
Yeah.
Just a
And
beautiful
her mother
person.
was, I don't know why her mother ever put up with Ed.
Hmm.
And I don't know, the last time when Karen was up, I don't know who was their name. Anyway, somebody asked her where her dad was buried, and she said, I don't know. She said, I don't know whether he's buried or not. And she said, because Ruby had him cremated, and she kept his ashes. And she said, I don't know.
So Ed isn't buried up in the
Oh,
sun.
Ellen don't even know.
Oh, isn't that?
She don't even know her.
You mean
and
Karen doesn't know?
Or Karen.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know whether she even knows where her mother is.
Hmm.
Because Ed, she was cremated, and Ed had her ashes, and Ruby, then, and I said to Karen, I said, I'm going to tell you something that I said, maybe I shouldn't, but I said, there was an insurance man, and he lived down the Bitterroot someplace, and he came up and was trying to sell me some insurance, and and he knew Ed, and that's and I don't know how it come about, but anyway, this insurance guy told me. He said, he said, I'm going to tell you something funny. He said it's funny, and it isn't funny. He said, I knew your brother Ed, and he said, in fact, I think he had insurance. Ed had got insurance. Anyway, he had gone up to see Ruby after Ed had died and that. And so he was trying to sell Ruby insurance. And so she said to him, to this guy, she said, they were sitting there talking, and he said something, and she said, you wouldn't mind if Ed sat in on this conversation, would you? And the guy said, I looked at her, and I said, well, no, that's fine, He said he knew that Ed was dead, and and she got up and left and went in the bedroom and came back and had an urn, and she set it down on the table, and she said, okay, Ed can listen in.
I bet you the guy had a hard time getting Ed to sign the papers.
So, and I told Karen about that, and she said, you know, and she said, she said, and Karen told me, she said, I don't know where my mother's
That's
or my dad's, either one.
that's
is."
just not right.
She said, you know, she said, and then she said Ruby lived there in the house, and 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 I think that Ellen's dad, and I'm sure that Ellen's dad had put up all the money for building that house and that land and stuff, because Ed never could
Yeah.
do anything with it, and so, and so, but Ellen or Karen said, you know, she said, I just don't know. She said what, and then Charles, her brother, has something, and I don't know, because Karen's uncle, Ellen's brother,
Hogstead?
Hogstead had, and that belonged to him and his dad. And Ellen's dad, that two sections there, 33 and 34, belonged to them because they're the ones that bought that. And so I don't know what, you know, I think that Ed had a right to live in the house as long as he lived or something on that. Because,
Most of all of our people are buried up at Helmville, aren't they?
oh yeah, yeah,
And Daddy's people are just buried all over the country,
Yeah.
isn't it? Because his brothers went
yeah,
far and wide.
yeah. Well, they're either buried in California or Arkansas.
Yeah.
Because Leonard and them are buried in California.
Yeah.
Leonard and Clifford are buried in California. And I don't, and then one of the others, Hensley is buried in Arkansas. And
Is Grandma Tubbs buried in Arkansas?
yeah,
In Little Rock, or did you ever know?
no, it's right out of Hot Springs.
Oh, Hot Springs. Do you think that Daddy ever wanted to go back to Arkansas to be buried, or he wanted to be buried in Helmville?
No, he never ever, he never ever, he wanted to go back to Arkansas, and he did get to go back to Arkansas just to see it.
That's when Richard took you guys to when you
Yeah,
guys.
but he had no, he had no, I don't know how to
Desire to.
desire or anything of ever living back there.
I see pictures of Daddy, you know, those pictures that, you know, Mikey and I scanned for you. And I see Richard, God, the old Richard gets him where he looks like Daddy, especially the way he combs his hair. To me, he does.
Yeah.
You know how, you remember Daddy more, but if he had if Richard wore glasses,
Yeah.
he'd look just like Dad.
And, no, he never ever, and when we went down there and that, and, you know, I don't really think that Ernie, realized the difference, the time
Oh, yeah.
would m- make things. I think that he thought when we went back down there, everything had changed. So, and Colonel Forsyth that he worked for and stuff, that land was all chopped up and dissolved. You know, the the Forsyths had all come, and I took one piece and you took one piece, and you know, and it wasn't one big ranch anymore, and and I think, you know, I think he was disappointed in the change that was and some of the hot springs places that had the bathtubs and all that stuff, you know, that was all changed. They weren't there anymore. They had been, you know, it was, well, you know, after the Depression and stuff, and people, you know, and people in the South just didn't have the money, you know, and they wasn't, people were going down there. There was other places that people were going to, instead of going to hot springs, they were going to other places that, that was the kind of the fad of, you know, like they had in Montana here, they had that fad of going to the water that was coming out of the ground that was hot, and, you know, like Hot Springs, Montana, and all that, you know, stuff. So I think he was disappointed, and because he never, you know, he never ever talked too much about it, and then too, he was so disappointed when Lou said you go catfishing, and he went out to a farm and took a basket and
Instead of going to the river and catching one.
He thought that Lou was taking him down onto the Washita River to go fishing. And it wasn't. He went to a farm where they raised catfish and take a basket and.
I remember, you know, some of my earliest memories about fishing is when we would go over to Lincoln to see Bud, and we would stop at some little creek or something. I don't even know where it was at, and always get out and fish for trout, brook trout. I don't know if it was kind of like the break in the, you know, traveling back and forth, that we'd stop and we'd eat lunch, and I remember Richard and Mikey and I don't know if Mary Joyce was with us, but probably, you know, and we'd sit there and with just a willow pole and a worm and brook trout. I don't know if we ever caught anything, but that's what we did. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go over there to the rodeos.
Oh, yeah. I remember going to the Lincoln Rodeo. That was a big deal, to go to the Helmville Rodeo and the Lincoln Rodeo.
Oh, yeah.
That was a big deal. That was in a summer event.
Yeah.
Anything that keep us kids from out of the hills from getting wood, we loved. We really. We were glad when Daddy decided that we'd gotten enough wood for the winter. 'Cause that was our summer. It's hard to imagine how hard you and him worked all week long, and then Saturday and Sunday go to the hills to get wood for the house. But you just never ever thought about it. It was just something that had to be done, and that was it.
No.
You raised a garden, got wood, you know, I mean, that was just it. That was how it was. I know you and I were talking last night about, you know, about how kids are, and I kind of think, you know, maybe that's why I remember when we got a TV set. I think I was only like in the 4th grade or 5th grade, and then it was just fights that
Yeah.
all that was on TV. There wasn't any, but. And I remember Daddy watching Ed Sullivan and the Sonny and Cher show.
Oh, yes. Cher.
Dad thought that she could sing. He really liked listening to her.
Yeah.
Isn't that funny how and she was kind of like sang rock and roll kind of stuff too. I can't even imagine why he would have liked that, but I know he just
Yeah,
thought that
oh,
Sonny
yeah.
and Cher show was it.
Yeah,
The
that
cat's
was,
meow.
yeah, that was, and I couldn't stand her.
But I remember him watching Ed Sullivan and the Red Buttons show.
Oh, yeah.
I loved that show. The Red Button show was
Yeah.
funny.
And,
Did you guys play games when you were young?
oh, yeah, as kids.
Did you play cribbage like that or
Yeah.
dominoes or?
Yeah, cribbage and dominoes both. And we played solo. And,
What solo?
It was a card game.
Oh.
And it's really you have to think of, it's a really a thinking game to play. And we played blackjack.
You played blackjack when you were?
Yeah, we used to play blackjack.
Did you bet?
Yeah.
Get out of here when
Yeah.
you were kids.
Oh, yeah.
How did you ever know that there was a gambling game 21 or blackjack when you were kids?
Well, I don't know. The guys that used to stay at the work on the threshing rig and that, I guess that's where we, as kids,
Learned how to play
Trash
blackjack.
that come by there.
yeah.
Get you.
And we used to play blackjack, and whoever got blackjack got their face painted black.
And that was how you
Yeah.
won the game?
Yeah, and Ed was, Irvin and Bill and I would gang up, and we'd always, so Ed would get blackjack so we could paint him black.
Well, no wonder he was mean, Mom. I mean,
Well, he was so damn mean to us, that's the only way we could get back at him.
and he allowed you to do it? Because it was a game?
Well, we held him down. It wasn't that he allowed it, it was that he... One time, we was playing blackjack and it was about 3 times, it was about the 3rd time in the row that he got it. And we had a kerosene lamp in the center of the table, and he upset the table, and my folks were gone. I don't know where they were, at a funeral or some damn something, because it was in the winter time, when he upset the table, the flame of the lamp went down into the bowl of the lamp, and Irvin grabbed it and threw it out the door threw the lamp out the door into the snow bank.
You probably saved the house from
Well,
burning down.
yeah, the house would have burned down if he hadn't have.
I remember one time you told me about how you guys would get on the wagon, hold onto the wagon wheel and
Yeah.
spin around and around. And so when you guys to knock your head off on the ground, I mean, hanging onto a wagon wheel to go around and around. I bet you that took a brave kind of thing to...
We'd sit on the hub and hang up onto the spokes.
Did your mom ever know you were doing that?
I don't know.
Anything for... Yeah.
you know, we made our own fun and our own games and stuff, and kids nowadays have no imagination.
Well, yeah, they're not allowed. Everything's already done for them, and I think that's why kids say they're bored so easily because they don't have,
Yeah,
Yeah. How long did you say people called you Tom? Till you were in the third or fourth grade?
yeah, probably.
Just your family, or
Yeah,
oh, you and your bloomers?
yeah.
I remember one time you telling us kids about when you heard the cows in the morning running from one cow pie to the next to keep your feet warm.
You know, I did all the time when I go out and be frost on the ground and go to get the cows and run through the mud, through the cow pods to get my feet warm.
Why didn't you? Why didn't you have your shoes on?
Well, we didn't have shoes to wear.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense.
We did have shoes, but you kept them for other things. You didn't.
Keep them for herding in the cows, huh?
You didn't wear them out in the.
So you ran from cow pie to keep your feet warm?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Frost on the ground.
Hmm. How did your dad make his money? I mean, did you just eat all the stuff you raised, or you sold your cattle?
Yeah,
Or?
well, my dad thrashed for other people.
Oh,
you know,
okay.
He had the steam engine and the thresher, and he thrashed all down the valley to where there where you turned to go up to Sealy Lake, because he couldn't go any further than that, and then to Lincoln, and then and then he and then from Ovando up on the old road to Helmville.
So that picture when we were all there for Grandpa's birthday, and that steam thing behind him was the steam thrasher that he.
That was the
worked-
steam engine.
Oh, okay.
And Henry had a license. You had to have a license to run a steam engine, and for going out, and you could run it on the ranch and thrash and do the whatever, but you couldn't go from ranch to ranch without having a license to. And Henry had gone to Helena and taken the test and stuff, and he had a license to, and Henry run the steam engine, and Pete took care of the thresher.
So it's kind of a family business kind of thing.
Yeah,
And then you just raised cows and chickens and pigs and stuff for your own
yeah,
to keep yourself alive.
yeah. And then the boys, of course, they worked too on when would help ranchers different, and stuff. And we sold cream, could separated the milk and got the cream and shipped it in 5 and 8 gallon cans to the creamery out in Drummond.
There was a creamery in Drummond?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
That processed it. Yeah.
Drummond must have been a bigger town than it is now.
Well, it had more there.
Oh.
Yeah, one time Drummond was going. There was the hotel, and there was 3 restaurants and 5 or 6 gas stations and 4 or 5 bars, and but when the road went through around it, it killed. There's nothing there anymore.
Well, yeah, and it was when the logging and mining and stuff were going on.
Yeah.
But, with the phosphate mine closed down and no log. And gosh, I remember when the mill was out to haul. There was a couple mills out to haul
Yeah, and
when I
then,
was younger.
and then the big mill was right there in Drummond. Old
Yeah.
Sid Lawson had that big mill right there in Drummond, you know, and stuff. And yeah, you know, we sold hand-picked logs for $35 a thousand.
Hmm.
You know, logs with not a knot in them. Hand-picked, they were hand-picked. $35 a thousand. Now you pay $3,500
Yeah.
for a board.
Yeah, lumber's pretty expensive. Yeah. Do you regret any of it, Mama? As hard as
No.
you guys worked? And I mean, I know you and Daddy worked real hard and had a good time and a bad time, but do you regret any of it?
Not really. You know, you look back and think, you know, um, the price and now what Ernie got for a whole day's work, they get for 1 hour,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
which is ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. That's one thing. Daddy wasn't afraid to work, was he?
No, no, no.
I mean, anybody that did clean outhouses to keep their family fed
Yeah.
is not afraid of work.
Yeah. No, he and he did a good job on anything he agreed to do, he did. He never half did anything. If he said he would do a job, he did it. And
He was an honest man, wasn't
Yeah.
he?
he never. And there's a lot of people that owed him money that he never did pay him.
Hmm.
If it was now, they'd sue you
Yeah.
for, you know. Like I say, I worked from Mom McClure there at the White Cafe, 10 hours a day for $30 a month.
Got a day off.
Not a day off, no way. Worked 30 days for $30.
Hmm.
And I got $30, and the girls that lived at her house and worked like Torchy Rob and some of them, they got $20 a month. But they got board and room too.
Mm-hmm.
Got $10 more because I didn't eat there at the restaurant.
How long did you and Daddy live in a tent
We lived one summer.
before you rented there at the
Mhm.
community?
No, there was a little house where Niven Morse's house is. There was a little one-room house there that we lived in for a year or more. One room.
Bet you that was easy to keep clean. One room.
No, we never lived in the community hall until we came back from Missoula. And then we lived in that little house, that little two-room house there by Grandma Clark's. I don't think that little house is, I know it isn't there anymore, because Marge James has got that trailer house in there. We lived there for years. And then we lived up there by, and that house isn't there anymore either. Hasn't been for years. Across the creek from Madge Fisher's house. Down kind of back from the Catholic Church and stuff.
So it's been, I was only like 2 years old when you bought the house up the gulch, right?
Yeah.
It's been 56 years, 55 years that you've lived up there.
Mm-hmm. And we rented it for 2 or 3 years before we bought it. What the hell was his name? It was Hodgesbrook's son-in-law, and they owned it. And Grandma Perriman's sister owned that land, and then she had sold the land to Grandma Perriman, but she kept the house, the big house, and she kept the little house down below, and she sold it to Hosbrook's, and Joe Brider bought the big house from Hosbrook's, and then he went to the war, and when he came back from the war, they had a deal. The government had a deal that they gave. It was kind of a drawing thing that you drew, because Billy Hanson, that's how he got his house there in Missoula. He got locked.
Okay.
Government, it was a government thing. And they, ones that, and Brider got a deal, and he, on his drawing, and it was land down in Wyoming where they built that big dam down there, and he got 160 acres of
Wow.
land. And so they had that down there. Well, then they were renting that house in there in my house. They and Frank Williams and Sarah and their kids lived there, and they lived there for 4 or 5 years, and then they moved out, and I think they went back. I think Williamses went back to Butte, and we rented the house from Brider's, and then part of their land down there in Wyoming turned into a swamp because on account of the dam. So the government give them the option of either they could sell it to the neighbor that joined their land, or they could get land out in Washington on the same deal as what was there. So they sold back to the government, however. Anyway, these people they either had to buy the other people out or the other people bought them out, one or the other. And then Briders went out to Washington, and out there from the Tri-Cities, I think it was, and they got land there. And and of course then they had to build a house, and so then they were wanted to sell the house there in Drummond. They had to sell. They were we either had to buy it or move. Was one of the was. And I went to Louis Pichet, and Louis Pichet helped me buy it.
Yeah, I was going to ask you how, because I remember Louis Pichet coming up to the house every now and then, and I remember you talking way back when you and Daddy would take the payment to him because you couldn't afford a stamp to put on the envelope to make the payment on the house. How much was that house? How much did you buy that house for?
$12,000.
$12,000. That was a lot of money 55 years ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
What'd you pay Louis Pichet every month?
I didn't pay Louis. It was the bank in Phillipsburg, and if I didn't have the money, Louis would make the payment for me, and then I would.
Did you do that because he knew you from church, or?
No, I just knew Louis, and knew Grandma Pichet and stuff, and.
Do you remember how much a month you paid for the house?
I think it was $35 a month, or $55. $55, I think it was a month.
Wow.
Yeah.
How long did it take you to pay off
I
$12,000?
can't remember how long it took, but
Holy smokes.
And the bank in Phillipsburg, Flint Creek Valley Bank, and it was, but and Louis Pichet, I never would have had it if it hadn't been for Louis,
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, who back then had $12,000?
Yeah.
I mean, or credited the bank to, I mean,
yeah.
that was, what, in 1945, so, or 55? Yeah, 1955, so that, right after, that was during the Korean War. And
I can't remember how many years it took. I know it took a lot of years to.
That was after career.
Was that after the Korean War?
Korean War,
Yeah.
51.
Yeah. A lot of water under the bridge.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of people have gone on home to heaven since
Yeah.
then. If you were ever to write something down, Mom, what would you say? I mean, about your life. I mean, like, you just said a lot of water under the bridge, but, I've been thinking about that lately. Like, if I ever sat down and wrote down, especially this last year with, us losing so many people in our family. I've often thought, what I'd sit down and write, out for Dee and Thomas, so. Because we're not here forever.
No.
That's for certain.
I always said make what every day count, because tomorrow may not be here.
Mhm. Yeah.
And it's a good thing we don't know.
Oh, you think so? It's a good thing we don't know, yeah.
It'd drive you crazy.
But the thing, maybe if you knew, you would live every day, you know.
No, I think if you knew tomorrow would be the last day, you would kill yourself trying to do this and do that and do something else, and
Use it all up.
and you know, I don't.
Or you'd be so depressed that you knew you
Yeah.
wouldn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why God keeps us from knowing, isn't it?
Well, yeah.
You know, the Bible does say that our times are in His hands, and that's probably why He doesn't want us to know,
No.
or that we don't need to know.
And I think your time is set from the minute you draw your first breath. Your time is set, and when that time comes, it's there.
Mm-hmm.
There's no, because I think why would be in an airplane wreck and 122 people are killed and one little one lives?
Mm-hmm.
You're in a car wreck and
Mm-hmm.
one person is killed and 2 or 3 lives, or 2 or 3 is killed and one person or 2 people live. It's not their time to go.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't served their time on
Mm-hmm.
this earth.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they left.
I believe, like you, though, when you said, you know, when it is your time, you walk that road.
And there ain't no saying, wait, tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
There's no.
Mm-hmm.
And just like with Tom Dunnigan and Cliff and them, there's the 3 of them. All had the same cancer. One of them lived out of the whole 3.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, Mama, maybe why the Lord has kept you here for 98 years is because you haven't served your purpose yet.
I guess not.
You still haven't raised enough great-grandkids or imparted enough wisdom or done something. Maybe He needs you to stay longer to make sure all of these great-grandkids get raised.
They don't really pay any attention to what you have to say anyway.
Yeah, they do. I think they pay more attention to you than they do most others. But you're kind of right. People have to find out for themselves, don't they?
Yeah.
I mean, just like you got to walk that road alone when you die, you got to walk that road out when you're alive.
Yeah, you walk that road alone. That's what I told Dad.
Mm-hmm.
I said, one day you'll walk that road alone. You're the one that has to say, no, I didn't give my dad a drink of water. No, I didn't tend to his wounds.
Yeah.
Not me.
Yep.
You're the one that has to do it, not me. And I got a lot of, that I didn't go see my dad when I should have, but I wasn't welcomed in its home.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't go. And I got that to pay for.
But you took care of your dad, Mom.
The last 2 weeks he lived. So, but
I'm quite sure when that time comes, your dad will be there with open arms, just like your mom and Daddy.
yeah, yeah. Like I say, a lot of water under the bridge.
Mm-hmm. Just like you and I were talking last night, saying you're sorry or I was wrong and apologizing for things is a big thing,
Yeah,
you know, and you need to say those things while people are alive. You need to say, I'm sorry, I was wrong. Just like saying I love you, why people are still alive to do it.
yeah.
You know?
You know, you can't. You can't go back.
No. No.
You can't change what happened
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
today. You can't change tomorrow, and you can't have change what happened today.
Yeah.
So,
That's why I think it's so comforting to know when you believe, you know, in a Savior, when you believe in God, when you believe in
Yeah.
Jesus, you know you have a future and all those things are behind you, and at least you have a future. I don't know how people go through life and not believe.
I don't either. I just, you know, and I don't care what you believe or how you believe, as long as you're honest about it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And who knows that I'm right and you're wrong, or that you're wrong and I'm right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you believe a little different than I do, that doesn't mean that
Yeah.
that one's right and the other one's wrong.
That's right. When Jesus walked this earth, there wasn't a Catholic, a Lutheran, a Methodist, a Presbyterian, a Mormon. It was either you believed in Jesus or you didn't believe in him.
Well, he
That's
was a Baptist, John the Baptist.
okay. There were Baptists back then, but because of John the Baptist.
You know,
but oh, that was a good one. Yeah. I do know one thing for certain, though. You have to believe in Jesus to get to heaven. You can believe in Jesus as a Catholic or as a Methodist, or but as long as you believe in him, you got it made.
And it don't, that's what I said, it don't, just because it's, you believe a little differently than somebody else, it doesn't mean that they're right and you're
Yeah.
wrong, or they're wrong and you're right.
Yep. Yep. You gotta, bottom line is, do you believe in, that Jesus is your Savior? It doesn't matter if you believe in going to church on Saturday or Sunday or Monday or Tuesday, or, if you know.
Or you don't go to church
At all. Yeah, that's right. But if you believe in Jesus.
If you're sitting out there on the mountaintop, it's the same as if you're in the church.
Yeah. But the thing is, do you believe in Jesus? That's
As
it.
long as you believe, that's,
The Bible says that Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life, and Jesus is the only way to heaven, to the Father. It didn't say church was the only way to the Father. You know, it didn't say
that
anything
is
about
only
that.
a building.
Yeah, that's right. That is. It's what you believe, what you really believe.
And I don't believe that you have to go to church every Sunday or every Wednesday or every Friday or every whenever.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You can be just as good a person if you never step foot inside of a building.
Probably wouldn't be as big as hypocrite.
Well,
You know. No, just like I keep saying, it's one thing.
those holier than thou that go to church and come out of church and screw you over the
Yeah.
next minute.
Yeah, yeah. Treat their neighbors bad or talk about them or gossip. Yeah, yeah,
Or beat them out of something.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
yeah.
Uh,
Turn it on without, without it skipping, jumping. Because I want to be able, when I do this for Dee's wedding, I'll have a whole thing
yeah.
done. It. I took someday I'm gonna have to show you the the stuff I took at your dinner when all the kids were dancing and all the stuff was going on, and it turned out really cute. I got I had a picture of you and Tommy together, and then one of I got everybody in it. Really, everybody that was, around. I went from person to person saying this is this and this is this and this is this. Does Tommy ever have much contact with his twin brothers or no? Or I mean the twins?
He does with the one, with Hank, but Ed is well, Ed's wife is a regular bitch. She has been Ruth. She has it's they got money and and you're just poor relation. And she's always been that way. And Tom and Ed don't get along at all.
Oh.
But him and Hank are really close.
When you were young, did you guys have big family stuff that you knew all your cousins and?
We did, yeah. That's what Pat Gary and I was talking. She said to me, she said, I can't believe, she said, that you know all of your aunts and uncles on both your sides, on both your mother's side and your dad's side. And I said I did. I knew all my aunts and all my uncles that was alive when I was,
Isn't it funny how, you guys didn't have mass transportation, lived miles away from one another, and still knew everybody. And nowadays we have telephones, texts, can get in a car and drive anywhere, and we hardly know anybody.
Yeah, and who I forget who it was that said something about it was it was about Aunt Lily, and I said my sister Aunt Lily, and I said, your mother didn't have a sister Lily. And I said, she sure as hell did. She was Lily Richards. And I said, Isabel Manley is my cousin. I said,
So that's how you got related to the Manleys, is through Aunt Lily?
yeah, but not John Manley and them are not related to them.
Okay.
It was a different Manley. I think that Bill Manley was maybe a second or third cousin, but they weren't. And I said, and Willis Manley and I were, when Willis lived in Drummond, Willis and I were really close, and have stayed. And Helen Miles, she was a Manley. Aunt Lily was her grandmother, And I said, and I knew,
John Guinan is related.
yeah, his his grandmother was my aunt, was my dad's sister.
Okay.
She was Joanna.
Aunt Joanna
Aunt Joanna.
was John.
His grandmother, and she was my dad's sister.
So, was Aunt Joanna's, was Jiggs Joanna's son, or was oh, okay.
And Jiggs was his dad, was John's dad.
Yeah. So that's how come when I know we had that, John gave us that picture of Grandpa Gary and.
And his grandpa.
Oh, okay, okay.
Was his mother's dad.
Oh, and they were friends?
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. Yeah. My dad used to, him and they used to go up to Hot Springs together every winter and stay at there.
Where,
And, John's grandfather and my dad used to go up there to Camas Hot Springs in the winter time. When
Yep.
my dad would go and stay with Aunt Joanna at Plains.
oh,
See,
okay.
Aunt Joanna had that hotel and restaurant there
At Plains.
at Plains.
Where's Campus Hot Springs?
Camas Hot Springs is up just out of Plains, out the other direction.
Oh, okay. And that was like a resort kind
Yeah,
of place?
yeah.
I remember one time when you were saying your dad would walk. Who did you tell me would walk from Deer Lodge to Helmville?
Oh, that was my Grandpa Weidenfellow.
I can't believe that. How many miles is that?
He used to walk, and he would walk to Ovando.
From Deer Lodge.
From Deer Lodge, he would walk and come to Deer Lodge. I don't know where he stayed along the road, you know, at whose places he stayed. And he would come and he would walk and come to Anton Jacobson's and Annie's, and he would stay there, and then he would walk from there, and he would walk up to our house, and then go across the road, or across the field, over to Aunt Yola's.
I'm trying to like get this straight in my mind. So your mom's relatives are Weidenfellers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. So that's how we got related to the John Weidenfeller
Yeah.
down in Missoula.
He and I were cousins.
Okay.
His dad was my uncle,
Okay.
John. Yeah.
How many kids was in your mom's family?
Yeah, I think there was 7 girls and 2 boys.
9 kids. What was your mom like? One of the younger ones or one of the
No,
older
she
ones?
was, well, let's see, there was Aunt Olive and Aunt Louise and Aunt Annie, and then my mother. So my mother was kind of in the middle.
In the middle. And all those folks are down. How did we ever get related to Hogans that
Well-
lived around Gold Creek?
That, see, Aunt Olive was married to a Moor, and the Moors were related to the Hogans.
Okay. Now those Moors were the brothers that you were telling me
Yeah,
about.
Yeah.
The 2 Moor
Yeah.
film. And then they were related. That's how we got related to the Hogans.
Yeah,
Okay.
in the Hollenbecks.
Well, are we closer related to the Hollenbecks
Yeah.
than the Hogans?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Because the Hollenbecks sound more familiar than.
Yeah, the Hollenbecks. See, Catherine Hollenbeck was a Moor. Catherine Hollenbeck and I were first cousins, because her mother was Aunt Olive.
It's sort of mind-boggling, isn't it? How just a couple of families have grown into all of. I mean, now think about. I mean, here's this family with 14 kids, this family with 7 kids or 9 kids or whatever it was. And then, I mean, look at all this, all
Yeah.
these families that they created to.
Yeah.
It's amazing how people then, back then, kept all their kids fed and clothed.
Yeah.
I mean, when you had to make everything and can everything.
That's, I said, you know, they'd starve to death now.
Mm-hmm.
And during the Depression, when there was, you know, in the 30s, people didn't have any money, and they worked for a dozen eggs, or do something
Wow.
you needed done, and or you know.
I can't imagine, just like you and Dad, you working in the hills all day long with Daddy, coming home, cooking dinner, worrying about kids. I just, you know, I just can't imagine working so hard for so long. You know, most people think 8 hours is enough. You know, I work 8 hours a day, that's it. That's when you work 12, 14, 16 hours a day, and then came home and still raised a family.
Ernie worked for Copenhagen's and before we moved to Drummond, and he fed 2,000 head of sheep,
Mm.
pitched the hay on and pitched it off, and walked 4 miles to work and 4 miles home at night.
After working, walk 4 miles and 4 miles.
He would, but he'd leave home in the morning about 5 o'clock and get home about 8 at night. For $1 a day. That was a lot of money. $30 was a lot of money.
Makes me sad to think about Daddy working so hard for so long.
Yeah.
I guess that's just how it was then. You
Yeah,
didn't
it's-
think about anything else.
You know. And, you know, we used to have wild meat to kill, and even my brothers too, then at home for when I was a kid. And we had wild meat all summer long,
Mm-hmm.
and the game warden would come to our house, and he would sit down and eat a meal and eat wild.
And not know it was wild, or he knew it was
he
wild.
knew. Oh yeah, old Harry Morgan. He was part Indian,
Oh.
and he was the state game warden, but he never ever said a word because he knew that
Mhm.
we didn't waste anything.
Mhm.
And he used to go and he would lay out in the woods, sometimes for 2 days, to catch the potters that lived over towards Wales's, and because they would kill deer or elk, and they would just take the loin and the back hind quarters and leave the rest lay in the woods.
Hmm.
And of course he knew that we never left anything, you know, because the boys bring it home and my mother would corn it and in 50-gallon barrels, wooden barrels, and we'd have it all summer.
What do you mean corn?
Put, like corned beef,
Uh-huh.
yeah, and you used saltpeter and salt and water, and mixed it, and then you put the raw meat in the barrel and poured this mixture of water and saltpeter and salt over, and
Then what'd you do, seal up the barrel, or?
just covered it,
Uh-huh.
and it stayed all summer. You know, you wanted piece of meat, you just went out there and dug down there and got a piece of.
And the bugs and stuff didn't get in there?
No, no, no.
What after you did that, then you cooked it like
Yeah.
you do.
Yeah, you'd put it in and parboil it, and then pour that water off. You'd rinse it first, in cold water a lot, 2 or 3 times, and then you'd put it on and parboil it and let it come to a boil, and then you would drain that off. And then if you was going to roast it, you put it in the roaster and roasted it, or otherwise you just boiled it and have.
Your mom knew how to do all that
Oh,
stuff,
yeah.
didn't she?
And we had some kind of stuff that it came in a powder form, and she would put cold water in it and mix it. And during the summer, when we had lots of eggs, we would put this stuff in a crock, a 10-gallon crock, or 10 or 5-gallon or whatever, and then with the eggs, then with fresh eggs, we'd put the eggs in this solution, and we had eggs for the winter, and you break one of those eggs in the wintertime, and it was just like fresh.
Oh, get out of here! What? The chickens don't lay eggs in the wintertime?
No, usually they don't. They didn't. They do now, but chickens have to be kept warm.
Oh.
And they need daylight. And in the wintertime, you
Yeah.
didn't. Now they.
So you put those eggs in there raw, and just stored them, and then when you wanted a fresh egg, you just.
just took one out and wash it off and wash the solution off in it and crack it, and you couldn't tell it from a fresh egg.
Isn't it strange how people back then just learned how all those things to survive on?
And we would dig pits out in the field for the potatoes and rutabagas and stuff with. We filled the root cellar full with the potatoes and rutabagas and cabbage and that, and then what we couldn't put in there, we dug pits out in the field and lined them, put straw in them, and then put the vegetables in there and put straw on top of that, and then covered them with dirt. And in the spring of the year, we just dig them up, and they were just fresh, had fresh vegetables.
Did you always use the stuff that you planted before to make seeds for the next?
Yeah, we'd save seeds for some, and some my mother would buy. She'd get from some company back east.
Did you just raise your stuff to feed you, or did you sell it?
Oh no, we just raised it for ourselves and the neighbors, whoever. And I can remember we had, it was really a bad winter, and the snow was deep and stuff, and Trost lived over across the valley there, and they had cattle, and they didn't have any feed, and my dad gave them straw. We had a lot of straw, and my dad gave them straw to keep, and it kept the cattle alive. They didn't gain any weight or anything, because there's nothing much in the in the dry straw, but it kept the cattle alive for them.
Neighbor helped neighbor back then, didn't they?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I think that's kind of one of those markers of, what's was so good back then that isn't now. Is that instead of every man for themselves, it was everybody helped one another.
Yeah.
You were neighborly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you didn't have much of the government to depend on.
No, there was nothing. That's what I said, these people now, and during the Depression, that when my dad gave them the straw and stuff, that was way before the Depression, you know, and, but people then, you know, helped everybody, and when it come time for harvesting, if you had your harvesting done, you went and helped the neighbors get theirs done. And I know my dad, you know, he thrashed a lot of grain and stuff all over the country there, and a lot of people never had money to pay him for, you know.
Was he the only one around the country that had that steam engine thing? How do you ever end up with that? Just
He just, I don't know, he just bought it and
is that still over around the ranch, or do you ever see that?
no, I don't know whatever happened to the separator, but I know where the engine is. The engine is down at Frenchtown at, it's in a museum down there.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's at, oh, what the hell is his name? He was a contractor, a road contractor, and he bought it, and he restored it. Yeah,
And so Grandpa's steam engine
is,
down in Frenchtown in a museum. Have you ever been down to see it, or?
I was down there one time, a long time ago, several years ago. Well, when Betty was down there.
Did Betty Lou know that it was Grandpa's?
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
That's great. No, I never knew that.
yeah. I don't know what happened to the separator. But, yeah. And Henry was a licensed engineer.
Yeah, that's what you said the other day.
You had to have a license to run the steam engine.
You wouldn't have thought that. I mean, you know, you wouldn't think that back then that they had so many regulations that you'd have to have a license
Yeah.
to.
You had to have a license for the steam engine run. Well, I suppose it was because of the pressure,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
the steam, you know, because the water in the boiler would have to be so hot for the steam to make the wheels turn.
Mm-hmm.